At 30 years old, Yi Hao only earns 5,000 a month. He just got dumped by his girlfriend, who complained he was poor. At this moment, he is standing at a bus stop, looking at the number his childhood friend Han Lei gave him. It is exactly the same as the lottery ticket in his hand. Thinking to himself, I really hope I can win 100 million. Then I wouldn't have to be a corporate slave anymore. Wouldn't it be great to just go back to my hometown and live a carefree life? At 11 in the morning, Chen Guoqiang announces layoffs in the conference room. He loudly declares that our company values evolve like culture. Now we are introducing an AI tool called Crayfish. We are cutting 5 people from each team. A department of 25 people will lose 20. The meeting room erupts in chaos instantly. Yi Hao, you are now the backbone of our department. From now on, the work is left to you and Crayfish. Keep up the good work. I have high hopes for you. Although Yi Hao did not get a raise, he actually got a $500 pay cut. But he is the only one left to do all the work. He can only swallow his anger and nod. At 5:29 in the afternoon, Yi Hao rushes to the lottery station. The draw on television has already begun. The host announces the first red ball number is 05. Yi Hao looks down. It actually matches his first number. He instantly gets goosebumps. Then the host continues to call out 12, 18, 23, 27, and 31. Yi Hao checks them one by one. He discovers that all the red balls match perfectly. His hands start to tremble. He is frozen in place. The final blue ball begins to spin. Yi Hao's palms are sweaty. The host finally announces the blue ball number, 08. Yi Hao's mind goes blank. He checks the lottery number, date, and type repeatedly. He looks at it no less than 10 times before he can believe he won 100 million. The lottery shop owner deliberately shouts that his own blue ball didn't hit, to divert everyone's attention. After the store is empty, he lowers his voice to Yi Hao, saying, I checked your lottery ticket. No problems. It is definitely 100 million. At this moment, Yi Hao truly believes he has actually won. At dusk, Yi Hao walks down the street, feeling like this is the most beautiful sunset in his 30 years. On the phone, Zhang Keikai says coldly, Yi Hao, let's break up. Yi Hao calmly agrees, and casually adds, last time when I didn't use protection, remember to go to the hospital and get checked. Hearing the screaming on the other end of the line, he hangs up directly, feeling completely at ease. Back at his rented apartment, Yi Hao carefully takes the lottery ticket and hides it under his pillow. He thinks that the housing prices in Shenzhen are too expensive. With 100 million, you are still just an ordinary person. But a villa in his hometown only costs 2 or 3 million. So he talks to himself, instead of staying in Shenzhen and being an ordinary person with 100 million, it is better to go back to his hometown and be a local big shot. Yi Hao researches the prize claiming process, knowing that after a 20% tax deduction on 100 million, he gets 80 million. He decides to donate 1 million to the children's fund, leaving 79 million, and secretly warns himself, this matter must be kept to himself forever. He won't tell anyone. At 9 in the evening, just as Yi Hao closes his eyes, his supervisor, Brother John, calls to urge him, Hey Yi, the boss has a temporary project today. Hurry up and join the group to check the requirements. Work with Crayfish and put in some overtime tonight. After hearing this, Yi Hao throws his phone onto the nightstand. Working overtime? Forget that. I am going to sleep. The next day, Yi Hao pulls out a baseball cap, a face mask and sunglasses. Arming himself completely, he looks in the mirror. Satisfied, he says, excellent, even my own mother wouldn't recognize me. With something like winning 100 million, my face must never be photographed. Before leaving, Yi Hao carefully puts his wallet into the inner pocket of his jacket, ensuring it is pressed against his chest to be safe. Just at this moment, his phone rings, playing a silly ringtone. He sees it is a call from Zhang Fugui. Hello, little Yi. What is going on with you? Didn't I tell you to rush the project yesterday? What's the matter? Why aren't you happy about it? If you're not happy, just keep it to yourself. Since you're in such a rush, why don't you just go and do the project yourself? Do you not want this job anymore? Whatever, you can get lost. I know the client is hard to deal with, but I'm just not doing it. Go crazy, you turtle. He finished and hung up immediately. Feeling completely relieved, the phone starts vibrating again. Yi Hao doesn't bother to answer. He directly opens the AI assistant and sets it to automatic rejection. The world is instantly quiet. He walks out the door and heads straight for the high-speed train station, muttering to himself, here I go, off to claim the prize at 9:40 in the morning. Yi Hao stands at the entrance of the provincial lottery center. He takes a deep breath and walks into the lobby. He walks up to the front desk and says, hello, I am here to claim a prize. The double color ball grand prize, 20 times over. The young receptionist is stunned. She stands up immediately. Within 30 seconds, a group of staff members swarms into the lobby. Some are pouring tea, others are registering him. During the few minutes of waiting, Yi Hao's heart is pounding, until a staff member says with a smile, Sir, your lottery ticket has no issues at all. Congratulations, and then comes the prize claiming process of filling out forms. After signing, paying taxes, and a 20% deduction from the 100 million. Yi Hao receives 80 million. And following his plan from last night, he donates 1 million to the Children's Foundation. During the group photo, everyone is smiling brightly. Only Yi Hao is fully covered with a hat, sunglasses, and a mask. No expression can be seen. Once the paperwork is done, Yi Hao walks out of the lottery center. A text message from the bank on his phone shows 79 million received in his account. He stares at the text message for a full minute, finally believing that everything is real. Thinking to himself that it's time to resign. I haven't wanted to stay at this lousy company for a long time. That guy Yi Hao suddenly quit out of the blue, causing me to drag people around working all morning. Just as Chen Guoqiang finished saying some platitudes, a new female employee peeks in from the door. Someone is here outside. And they said they were looking for you guys. Yi Hao, do you have any idea what you've done? I know. Did I ever ask you to work overtime to rush the progress? The new girl already told me everything. You 3 supervisors worked hard all morning. You must be really exhausted, right? The company has to pay a $5,000 breach of contract fee. This money will be deducted from your salary. You can forget about getting paid next month. No problem. Since that's the case, then hurry up and finish my resignation paperwork. Looks like you've already found a new job. That's none of your business. Hurry up. Your professional skills are terrible anyway. Supervisor John, go and get the resignation papers ready. Have him sign them. You won't get paid for this month, and as long as I'm here, you won't be able to find another job in the Shenzhen tech scene. Yi Hao Yanzan says disdainfully, all right. A bunch of useless bums, stop with all the nonsense. Once the paper is signed, you can leave right now. Yi Hao doesn't even look twice. He flips straight to the last page to sign. He drops the pen and says, done. Goodbye, he says, and turns to walk away. Yi Hao walks out of the office building. The sunlight outside is bright, and the sky is crystal clear. He looks back at the gray building where he spent 6 years, softly saying, the feeling of resigning is truly amazing. Goodbye to you all. Goodbye, Shenzhen. He then hails a taxi and leaves. Arriving back at his apartment in Kuiju neighborhood, Yi Hao first sends a message to the landlord, saying he won't be renewing the lease at the end of the month. Then he starts to pack his things, clothes, daily necessities, and his laptop. Everything fits into just 2 suitcases. This room witnessed his 5 years of corporate slave life, but he has no attachment to it anymore. Yi Hao finds a second-hand removal service on his phone. 40 minutes later, a middle-aged man wearing blue work clothes comes to the door and looks around, offering 2,000. Yi Hao doesn't even bother to haggle. He simply says, deal. The transaction is done and his phone rings shortly after. Another $2,000 has been deposited. The furniture is loaded onto a small truck and hauled away. The apartment is left with only Yi Hao and his 2 suitcases. He stands in the empty living room, looking at the wallpaper and the nail holes on the walls, thinking to himself, it's done. The past is in the past. He then sits down on the floor, seeing that it is already 7 in the evening. It's done. The past is in the past. Being hungry is fine too. He opens a food delivery app and orders KFC, 2 burgers, large fries, a soda, popcorn chicken, and an egg tart. It costs $60 in total. In the past, if it cost over 20, he wouldn't even look at it. But today, he just feels that having money is great. He can order whatever he wants. At 8 in the evening, Yi Hao buys a high-speed train ticket back to Xiaocheng for tomorrow morning at 9. At 3 in the afternoon, looking at his order, he remembers coming to Shenzhen 6 years ago with only $3,000. Now he is returning with 79 million. He then calls his father. Yi Jianwo asks his son, are you off work? Yi Hao says, Dad, I'm coming back to Xiaocheng tomorrow. Hearing that his son is returning, Yi Jianwo's tone changes. Did you take time off? Yi Hao simply says, I quit my job. I don't intend to stay in Shenzhen anymore. I'll be living in Xiaocheng from now on. His father becomes anxious. What? You're coming back to Xiaocheng? Xiaocheng is so small. Where will you find work? His father gets increasingly worried, even urging him to rush back to the company and ask for his job back, suggesting he buy some nice liquor and cigarettes for his boss. Yi Hao interrupts him. Dad, I won the lottery. He then calmly adds, Dad, I won the lottery. I won 5 million. There is silence on the other end, as if the signal cut out for a few seconds. Yi Jianwo's voice trembles. 5 million? Yes, 5 million from the lottery. I already claimed the prize today, and the money is in my account. After a long silence, his father finally says, okay, come on back. When you get home, we two will talk it over. After hanging up the phone, Yi Hao lets out a long sigh of relief. He leans against the wall, reflecting on his decision to only mention 5 million. He knows that one shouldn't flaunt their wealth, especially in a small town, where news travels fast. 5 million is manageable, but once 80 million is exposed, having relatives show up to borrow money would be a real headache. After taking a shower, Yi Hao spreads a blanket on the floor and lies down. He scrolls through short videos for a while and checks housing prices and luxury villas in Xiaocheng. His eyelids gradually grow heavy. As he turns off his phone, he thinks to himself, tomorrow, I'll be going home. The next morning at 8:30, Yi Hao packs up all his belongings, 2 suitcases and 1 backpack. He takes one last look at the empty rented room, leaves the key on the shoe cabinet, and closes the door behind him. At 9:45, he reaches the high-speed train station. He goes through security and boards the train. The train hasn't started yet. Yi Hao is sitting in seat 13 by the aisle. Looking out the window, it's 28 degrees in Shenzhen at the end of April. The girls walking on the platform are dressed in light, cool clothes. Thinking of his ex-girlfriend, Zhang Keikai, he realizes his mindset has changed. He shakes his head, thinking, "You're overthinking it." Just then, a gentle voice from beside him says, "Excuse me, could you let me through?" Yi Hao looks up and sees a young woman with her hair in a bun, wearing a light blue floral dress. She looks fair and gentle, remarkably like the actress Rosamund Kwan. Both recognize each other at the same time. She is actually his former colleague from the office, Rosamund. Yi Hao smiles and says, "This is such a coincidence, to run into you here of all places." Rosamund smiles sweetly and says, "Yes, it's the same route. I'm sitting right next to you." Yi Hao takes her small suitcase, puts it on the luggage rack, and says, "Come on, you go in and sit down." After sitting down, Rosamund says gratefully, "It's been so many years, and you're still as helpful as ever." "Brother Yi, are you still working at the same company in Shenzhen?" "I stayed for another 3 years after you left." "You must have been promoted, then?" "Not at all. It's all about connections. You can't get promoted without them. I left back then because I couldn't stand the supervisor, relied on connections. But I just resigned too. I quit the day before yesterday and am taking this train back to Xiaocheng." "What a coincidence. I'm heading back to Xiaocheng too. To think that you're actually from my hometown. We worked together for 3 years without knowing we were from the same place. That's ridiculous. We were too busy working to chat. So, why are you heading back?" "Don't even ask. I'm going back for blind dates." Rosamund says helplessly, "My mother is pushing me to go on blind dates. I am 28 this year, which is considered an older single woman in Xiaocheng." Yi Hao asks if she wants to get married. She thinks for a moment and says, "It's not that I don't want to get married. It's just that I don't like the blind date process. 2 complete strangers sitting together, comparing conditions. How is that any different from buying groceries at a market?" Rosamund says earnestly, "You should definitely marry someone you truly like, not just settle for anyone." Yi Hao agrees and asks about her boyfriend. Yi Hao says calmly, "We broke up. We just split up yesterday." Rosamund looks a bit sympathetic and quickly encourages him. "It's okay. Brother Yi, you are so outstanding, tall, and handsome. There will definitely be a girl who likes you." Yi Hao laughs at that and says, "Hearing you say that, I'm just one word away from being tall, rich, and handsome." Rosamund encourages him sincerely. "Hearing you say that, I'm just one word away from being a perfect match. As for money, you'll have it eventually with hard work." Yi Hao smiles without responding. The high-speed train starts moving, and the scenery outside the window flashes by quickly. Rosamund is quiet for a few seconds, then turns around and says shyly, "Brother Yi, could I ask you for a favor? My mom is definitely going to push me into blind dates, but I really don't want to meet those strange people. How about you act as my blind date partner?" Yi Hao is stunned for a moment. "Are you serious? Don't get me wrong, I don't actually want you to go on a real date with me. It's just that as soon as I get home, my mom will surely arrange dates immediately. I really don't want to meet them. She doesn't have many close friends in Xiaocheng, and she just happened to think of Yi Hao. And now that she hears you're heading back to Xiaocheng, you were the first person who came to mind. Since you've asked, it would be pretty heartless of me to refuse." Rosamund's eyes light up instantly. Rosamund says confidently, "I plan to introduce you by saying, Yi Hao works at an internet company in Shenzhen, earns 30,000 a month, and owns a home." Yi Hao raises an eyebrow and asks, "Aren't you afraid your mom will check?" She laughs and replies, "Check what? Shenzhen is over 1,000 kilometers away from Xiaocheng. And my mom doesn't even really know how to use a smartphone. After we get home and meet, we'll pretend to go on dates. And finally, we'll wrap it up by saying you're going back to Shenzhen for your career." Yi Hao thinks the plan is perfect. He catches the faint scent of gardenias on her, and a natural, fresh air. "Brother Yi, let me treat you to lunch. You've already agreed to help me with such a big favor." They talk while eating, and the atmosphere is much closer than when they were colleagues. "Brother Yi, now that you're back in Xiaocheng, are you considering finding a local girl? Are you planning to introduce your best friend to me? Then, Brother Yi, what do you think of me? Do I meet those requirements you mentioned earlier?" Yi Hao is taken aback. Rosamund explains that she just wanted to confirm the standards, to boost her confidence. Although Yi Hao feels a bit disappointed, he still says earnestly, "I think, if I were to consider you as my girlfriend, I think I wouldn't hesitate at all." "Great." With that word from Brother Yi, I can put my mind at ease. After the train pulls into the station, Yi Hao helps Rosamond get her luggage down. The two of them leave the station together. At the exit, Yi Jianwo excitedly waves and calls for his son. Here, Rosamond takes the initiative to bow and say, "Hello, uncle." Yi Jianwo is taken aback. He asks doubtfully, "I remember that girlfriend of yours. Didn't look like this." Yi Hao quickly explains that Rosamond is a former colleague. Rosamond also smiles and agrees. Yi Jianwo offers to drive him home. He politely declines. When they reach the parking lot, Yi Jianwo recognizes the car picking up Rosamond. He says it is driven by an old colleague from his factory. Yi Hao can't help but marvel at how small the world is. "Tell your dad the truth. Did you really win the lottery?" "Dad, what I told you is true. I really did win 5 million. Yi Jianwo's brow relaxes, and the corners of his mouth lift, but he insists on seeing it with his own eyes. Though Yi Hao just says he will show him when they get home. In the car, Yi Hao performs a transfer, moving from million to another account. Soon, the bank calls to verify the transaction. He confirms it into sentences and hangs up. 5 minutes later, the text message confirms the receipt. To put his father at ease, he decides to let his family see only this from million. As soon as they reach home, Yi Jianwo is eager to see the balance. Yi Hao unlocks his phone. The numbers on the screen make him excitedly count them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 7 digits. My goodness, for million. Yi Hao explains this is what is left after taxes. Yi Jianwo sighs with relief that life will finally be easier, and they can pay off the debt from his wife's medical treatment. As soon as they enter the house, his mother, Li Hongmai, happily hugs Yi Hao. "My dear son, you're finally back. I'll make you some braised pork belly in a bit." Yi Jianwo immediately announces that Yi Hao really won 5 million. Li Hongmai exclaims in shock, "Oh my, 4 million, 7 digits." Li Hongmai is so excited she starts jumping on the spot. She immediately suggests that Yi Hao and John Keikai should get married right away. But Yi Hao says somewhat awkwardly, "We already broke up yesterday." As soon as those words are spoken, the lively atmosphere in the living room stops instantly. Yi Hao sits on the sofa and explains that a month ago, when his mother was hospitalized, he took the 60,000 yuan meant for the bride price to cover the emergency, and John Keikai got angry and broke up with him because of it. Yi Jianwo slaps his thigh and says directly, "Good, that breakup was for the best. Life-saving money is more important than a bride price." Li Hongmai feels a bit guilty, and Yi Hao quickly comforts her. Then, Yi Hao reveals that he has already scheduled a blind date for tomorrow, with none other than Rosamond, whom he met on the high-speed train. After hearing this, Yi Jianwo says happily, "I knew you were acting strange today." He also explains to Li Hongmai that Rosamond is the daughter of an old colleague from the factory, and praises the girl for being pretty. Hearing Yi Jianwo praise Rosamond for being pretty, Li Hongmai immediately asks with jealousy, "Is her mother pretty too?" Then, Yi Jianwo denies it in a panic. Meanwhile, Yi Hao watches the drama unfold from the sidelines. To escape the fire, Yi Jianwo quickly ducks into the kitchen. "If you really like the girl, then be generous when you go on the blind date tomorrow. Just speak out. You young people nowadays are too hesitant when it comes to dating. Don't hold back. If you like her, just go for it." "Mom, what era are you talking about?" "Mom, society has changed now. We've just met. So even if there are feelings, we have to take it slow. You can't just force it. That will scare people away. Only then does Li Hongmai relent. All right. You make your own decisions about your life. As long as you get married soon, it's fine. But mom needs to ask you one serious question. Since you brought 4 million back with you, and you're not going back to Shenzhen, where do you plan to buy a house?" Yi Hao rubs his chin and begins to think seriously. Yi Hao knows in his heart that he actually has 79 million. But he is afraid of making his parents worry. "I'm just saying, Mom, my plan in coming back this time is to settle down in Shaocheng for good, and I intend to buy a villa outright." Li Hongmai's face changes instantly. She slaps the coffee table and roars, "What? Buy a villa? My dear son, have you caught a fever or something? You won 5 million, which is 4 million after taxes. You didn't win 50 million. Mom, you don't need to worry about that. I know some people who handle these things, so I can get a discount when I go to buy a house. It won't cost that much money." Li Hongmai is half convinced. She leans in and asks, "Then that friend of yours, is it a man or a woman?" Yi Hao is left speechless. "Oh, Mom, I already told you it's just a friend. Why are you still asking that? Even if it were a woman, she's just helping me look at houses. What on earth are you thinking?" After Li Hongmai goes into the kitchen to cook, Yi Hao sits alone in the living room, and without batting an eye, he transfers 100,000 to his father. Yi Jianwo rushes out from the kitchen with his phone. "Son, why did you transfer so much money to me? It says 100,000 right here." Yi Hao puts down his phone and says, "I just wanted to round it out. Besides, now that I have so much money, shouldn't I show some filial piety to you? Good son, I'm happy you're so filial. However, I need to hurry and pay back the money I borrowed before. It doesn't sit right with me to owe people money. Then he walks out to the balcony and calls his relatives and friends one by one to pay them back. The weight in his heart is finally lifted. At 5:30 in the afternoon, the dining table is filled with braised pork belly, stir-fried pork with chili, and other dishes Yi Hao loves. Yi Jianwo picks up his bowl and chopsticks and smiles. Let's eat. Yi Hao picks up a large piece of stir-fried pork with chili, praising repeatedly how delicious it is. Li Hongmai says happily, "Son, if you like it, eat more. Make up for all the weight you lost while you were in Shenzhen. I still advise you to reconsider buying a villa." "Mom, I know. I have my own plan. I intend to go house hunting tomorrow, and I'll buy a car while I'm at it. A car will cost 200,000 or 300,000, right? Money doesn't last long. You have to budget carefully. It hasn't been easy for our son to return. Come on. Cheers." The family of three clinks their glasses. The atmosphere at the table is worn and grounded. Once the word gets out about your situation, who knows how many girls will be lining up to go on a blind date with you. That John Kekai didn't want you. It just means she doesn't know her own luck. Before, I only had height and good looks. But now I'm also a wealthy man. The next morning, Yi Hao has a solid night's sleep. After washing up, he sits at the table for breakfast. He tells his parents, "Mom and Dad, I'm heading out to look at houses after breakfast." Yi Jianwo reminds him sternly, "It's fine to look at villas, but you only have 4 million in your hands, so don't get impulsive and spend it all." Yi Hao smiles. All right. I know all of this. Once I've bought the villa, you two can move in and enjoy it. 2. Yi Hao walks out the door and stands downstairs searching for houses on his phone. Before long, he finds a detached villa community called Zhou Villa. The unit price is 10,000 per square meter, with a total price of about 4.8 million. He doesn't hesitate and hails a rideshare car to head over directly. On the way, Yi Hao receives a message from Rosamond saying she has persuaded her mother to arrange the blind date for 3 in the afternoon. Yi Hao replies in agreement, while thinking to himself, Rosamond's made-up story of me earning 30,000 a month and owning a home pales in comparison to my real 79 million in cash, a fortune that an ordinary person couldn't earn in several lifetimes. Yi Hao arrives at the sales center of Zhou Villa. He checks his simple outfit in the glass wall, then pushes the door open to enter. A tall, slender saleswoman immediately comes up to greet him. "Hello, sir. Welcome to Zhou Villa. Are you here to look at houses?" "Yes, I am. I'd like to see the villas you have here." The saleswoman guides him enthusiastically. Yi Hao notices that the staff here all greet customers with a smile, not at all like those stuck-up people you read about in novels. The saleswoman introduces herself as Liu Yeran. Yi Hao states his requirements directly. Multiple levels, with a swimming pool and a lawn, and it needs to be quiet. This one has a total area of nearly 500 square meters, with a total price of 4.8 million. We currently have a promotion for the down payment, so you can move in with just 480,000. Do you have anything more straightforward? I don't need a mortgage installment plan. Can I get a discount if I pay in full? Liu Yeran replies that paying in full only offers a 30,000 discount, with no other package deals. Yi Hao decides to go see the physical property first. As Liu Yeran turns to get the keys from the front desk, Yi Hao watches her walk away, and suddenly feels she looks very familiar. Even the name, Liu Yeran, sounds like he's heard it somewhere before. While Liu Yeran is at the front desk getting the keys, a female colleague leans in and whispers if he's really paying in full for a 4 million plus villa, you should add him on WeChat. He's a wealthy catch, and you'll be a lady of leisure right away. "Oh, stop talking nonsense. I'm not that kind of woman," she says, but her cheeks flush slightly. Liu Yeran drives a red Audi A4 to take Yi Hao to see the house, her movements brisk and efficient. Yi Hao stares at her for a few seconds, and suddenly, it clicks. "Did you go to Wenchang Middle School for junior high? Were you in class 904 when we graduated?" Liu Yeran is surprised. "Oh, that's right. Who are you?" Yi Hao says with a smile. "I'm Yi Hao." Liu Yeran covers her mouth. Oh my god, I remember now. I remember you were the most handsome guy in our class back then. Or rather, the school heartthrob." After they add each other on WeChat, the car becomes quiet for a moment. The dynamic of old classmates who haven't met in over a decade makes the atmosphere subtle. At the villa, Liu Yeran shows Yi Hao around the inside and outside. The front lawn, the backyard pool, the 3 levels, and the basement all satisfy him completely. Yi Hao says decisively, "I think it's great. I'll take this one." "So soon? Don't you want to see others?" "No need. Just take me back to sign the contract." Paying in full back at the sales center, Liu Yeran quickly prepares the contract. After Yi Hao signs it, he takes out his phone. 4,770,000 is transferred in one go. Liu Yeran is shocked inside. It's been over a decade. How did he become so rich? Her colleague leans in again, saying, He's definitely a wealthy heartthrob. You have to seize the opportunity. Liu Yeran gives her colleague a playful look and walks back to the signing room with the organized documents. Slightly nervous, she says to Yi Hao, Yi Hao, please keep your documents safe. We obtained the major permits for this development quite a long time ago. So, the property deed will be delivered to your hands within a week. Yi Hao takes the documents, nods, and says, I'll leave that to you then. Yi Hao gathers his documents, stands up, and prepares to leave. Just as he reaches the entrance of the sales center, Liu Yeran's voice calls out from behind. Yi Hao, wait a second. He stops and turns around. He sees Liu Yeran jogging over to catch up. She stands before him, her expression hesitant. Could I treat you to dinner tonight? Don't worry. I don't have any other motives. It's just that we're old classmates, right? Plus, you just gave me such a huge commission today, so I really want to treat you to a meal, just to show my appreciation. What do you think? Yi Hao remembers he still has to go to Rosamond's place at 3 in the afternoon to meet her mother, but that's just a quick appearance. He is free in the evening, so he nods and says, sure, that works. Let's meet tonight. Send me the address. A happy smile instantly blooms on Liu Yeran's face. She answers cheerfully, all right, see you tonight. After Yi Hao walks out of the sales center, he stands at the entrance and opens the China Construction Bank app. The screen displays $7,233,012.35. He whispers to himself, there's still 70 million left. Adding this card to the 4 million from the Bank of China, he still has over 74 million in his hands. Yi Hao has already calculated it in his mind. When he gets home, he'll say the house only cost about 2 million. After spending 4.7 million and buying the villa, the money he still has is shockingly large. At this moment, Yi Hao's phone vibrates. Rosamond sends a WeChat message. Brother Yi, I just remembered something. When I told my mom about you, I mentioned you had a car, right? Do you have a car right now? Yi Hao finally remembers he has to help her deal with her mom this afternoon. Rosamond suggests in the WeChat message that she can help Yi Hao rent a car. Yi Hao replies directly, no need. I have a car. I'll drive over when the time comes. Rosamond replies instantly. That's great. Then I'll leave this afternoon to you. Yi Hao puts his phone away and starts seriously considering buying a car. Yi Hao browses through various car models on his phone. BYD, Tesla, Geely, Xpeng, he has them all. Finally, he settles on the Xiaomi SU7. Thinking the car has good performance and great value for money. Young people recognize the brand, and it looks respectable to drive. Yet it isn't as high profile as a luxury car. Yi Hao hails a rideshare car and heads straight to the local Xiaomi 4S dealership in the county. Although it's just a small, fifth-tier county, there are quite a few 4S dealerships for various car brands. So buying a Xiaomi SU7 is very convenient. Yi Hao walks into the bright showroom and spots two Xiaomi SU7s parked right in the center. One blue and one gray. He walks straight to the side of the gray car, walks around it once, and thinks the lines are smooth and full of design aesthetic. While Yi Hao is checking out the car, a male salesperson with slick back hair walks over. Hello, sir. Are you here to look at cars? Yi Hao thinks the voice sounds familiar, turns his head, and sees it's his old friend Yang Kiffin. He says with a smile, Kiffin, what are you doing here? Yang Kiffin is also surprised. It's you, Yi Hao. Yeah, I couldn't make it in Shenzhen anymore, so I'm back in the county now. Life here is pretty good, too. Places like Shenzhen have to fast a pace, and the pressure is high. Are you here to buy a car? Or just looking? I'm here to buy a car. Then maybe look at an SUV. Kei. I don't need an SUV anymore, because Kei and I have already broken up. Yang Kiffin quickly switches back to professional mode, pulls open the door of the gray SU7, and Yi Hao sits in the driver's seat, feeling the seat support and the texture of the steering wheel. Yang Kiffin leans against the car window and introduces it. This is the SU7 Pro version, with a range of 830 kilometers, 0 to 100 acceleration in 5.7 seconds. And the final price is just over 280,000. But for a friend like you, you can take it for 270,000. 270,000, that actually feels quite good. Then let's take this one. Help me process the paperwork. How? So soon? Yang Kiffin asks Yi Hao if he wants to look at another color or perhaps take a test drive. Yi Hao gets out of the car and says directly, no need. I have things to do this afternoon and need to use the car, so I'll just experience it on the road. The car purchase paperwork is finished quickly. Yi Hao pays $278,600, which is a discount of over 1,000 from the original price. The staff is busy helping him take photos with his new car. There are photos of him with the car, and also the classic pose of him standing in front of the car holding the keys. At noon, 12 o'clock, Yi Hao drives the new car to the entrance, rolls down the window, and says to Yang Kiffin, let's go. It's already noon. The two of us should go out and get some lunch. Sure, but I'll treat you to this meal since it's lunch. Yi Hao waves his hand. No need. But Yang Kiffin is very insistent. You helped me meet my quota for this month today, then I definitely have to treat you. Yi Hao smiles helplessly and has no choice but to agree. Fine. If you're paying, then you're paying. They find a nice restaurant and sit by the window, ordering a few dishes and some orange juice. Yang Kiffin raises his glass first. Come on. Let's toast to your new car. They clink glasses and take a sip. The atmosphere gradually lightens up. By the way, Yi Hao, are you still at that company in Shenzhen? Did you get promoted? Your salary should be pretty good by now, right? Not a chance. I quit a long time ago. Resigned the day before yesterday. Came back yesterday. That company has absolutely no room for advancement. Everyone in management above us is there because of connections. I was working my tail off, grinding away, while all the credit went to those who didn't do a damn thing. Doesn't that just make you furious? In today's society, everything depends on connections. The top salesperson in our shop just got the position because his dad bought him a car to inflate his numbers. Screw this messed up life. They both down their orange juice in one go. The dishes start coming out one by one. Yang Kiffin asks while picking at his food, "Did you and Kekai really break up?" "Just kidding. We really did." Yang Kiffin shakes his head and says he's in about the same boat. Finally, he flatly spits out 3 words. What else? Got divorced. Yang Kiffin takes a sip of orange juice and starts explaining the reason for his divorce. Complaining that I had no money. Basically, Deng Yao earns several tens of thousands a month running a yoga studio, which is already the ceiling here in Xiaocheng. He smiles bitterly. But what can I do? Without a degree or connections, it's not easy to make it on your own. Is it because I don't work hard enough? In the whole for S dealership, I'm the one who works the most diligently. I'm the first to arrive and the last to leave. I hear you. Man, let's have a toast, brother. They down another round. Luckily, there were no kids involved. Otherwise, a single-parent family would be too miserable. You two had been married for 4 years, right? No kids. I'm not going to hide it from you. Actually, I have some problems in that department. Yi Hao, he asks curiously. What kind of problems? Yang Kiffin leans in close and whispers. Basically, when I see a woman, I just can't get it out. The chopsticks in Yi Hao's hand almost drop under the table. He asks in shock. Holy crap. You aren't lying to me? I'm telling you the truth. I'm only telling you this. If you spread this, we're through. Yi Hao is stunned inside. Actually, I really do want to get back together with her. If you have time, when you see her later, could you help me put in a good word? Help you? I don't even have her contact info. How am I supposed to help? Don't you know? I have no idea. What are you talking about? Deng Yao. She lives right next door to your parents' building. Ah, haven't you seen her? Yi Hao is shocked again. Yi Hao explains that he's been working overtime in Shenzhen all these years and had no idea who lived next door. Seeing Yang Kiffin's disappointment, he pats his shoulder. Since she lives right next door, I'll definitely run into her eventually. When I see Deng Yao, I'll help you put in a word. Really? Really? After finishing the meal, Yi Hao drives his newly bought Xiaomi SU7 to take Yang Kiffin back to the S dealership. Before he gets out, Yang Kiffin pats him on the shoulder again. Brother, I'm counting on you for that thing with Deng Yao. Don't worry, I've got it. After Yang Kiffin walks into the shop, Yi Hao checks the time. It's almost 3 in the afternoon. He pulls out his phone to send Rosamund a WeChat. Is the place booked? I can head over now. A few minutes later, Rosamund replies. The place is set at the coffee shop next to the Shukai apartment complex. Yi Hao drives for over 10 minutes and parks steadily at the entrance. Just after stepping out of the car, he sees Rosamund waving at him, with a middle-aged woman sitting next to her. Yi Hao walks into the tea room. Rosamund smiles and introduces him. Brother Yi, we've saved you a seat. This is my mother. Hello, ma'am. I am Yi Hao. As soon as Rosamund's mother sees him, her eyes light up immediately. Oh my. I heard from Linlin yesterday that the person coming for a blind date today was a tall and handsome guy. Now that I see you in person, you really are just like what she described. No wonder she insisted on turning down the blind dates I arranged for her. Young man, I'm an experienced person. Since we're here for a blind date today, let's just be direct about some things and not beat around the bush. So, I'd like to know, how is your current job? Rosamund quickly shoots Yi Hao look, reminding him not to forget the backstory they agreed upon on the train. Yi Hao picks up his teacup, acting naturally. I'm currently working at an internet company in Shenzhen. I work as a manager with a monthly salary for around 30,000. I have all the standard insurance and benefits. My year-end bonus is usually around 100,000. Also, I've already bought an apartment in Shenzhen, 100 square meters. My family helped me pay for it in full. Rosamund's mother smiles even wider and asks if that gray sports car outside is his. Yi Hao nods and says, yes. Mom, they saw him get out of that car earlier. My Linlin is already 28 this year, so it's about time she found someone to marry. You two were colleagues before. So you already know each other well. Linlin told me you were very hardworking and serious at work, and often helped her out. If a man has a good work attitude and knows how to take care of those around him, then he must be a good catch. Mom, is there anything else you want to know? No. Nothing else. Alright, the rest of the time is yours. I won't stay here to bother you two any longer. Do you need me to take you back? No. No. I can go back on my own. You two stay and chat. After watching her mother disappear around the street corner, Rosamond lets out a long sigh of relief. Brother Yi, thank you for coming to help me today. Now that my mom believes it, I won't have to worry about her constantly setting me up with strange blind date partners every few days. No problem. It's just a favor. I worked in Shenzhen for quite a while, but since coming back this time, I feel that life in this county is actually quite good. The pace is slow and there's no pressure. Yi Hao nods. The two talk about the differences between the county and Shenzhen. If it weren't for the fact that salaries in the county are so low, I'd want to stay here too. What can you do with 1,800? That's true. That's why there are so few young people left here. Everyone with ability has headed out. Rosamond unintentionally looks out the window and notices that the gray car looks very new. So she asks, Brother Yi, that car outside looks brand new. Did you buy it? Yes, I just bought the car today. Xiaomi, I've heard of them. I think they cost over 200,000. Rosamond stops mid-sentence. She remembers that Yi Hao just resigned, yet he bought a car worth over 200,000. She mistakenly believes he bought the car on loan, just to put on a show for her. Thinking of this, she is suddenly flooded with a strong sense of guilt. I'm sorry, Brother Yi, it's my fault. I didn't think that just to help me, you would pay such a high price. But don't worry, how much did you borrow for the loan? I'll help you pay it back when the time comes. Consider it as me repaying you. Yi Hao is completely bewildered. Linlin, what do you mean by that? I know it's my fault, and I shouldn't have put this pressure on you. Aside from this, I still have other things I can give you. Actually, I have never experienced that sort of thing before. If you need it, I wouldn't mind. Yi Hao almost spits out his tea. He quickly shouts, Stop, stop, stop. Linlin, what are you saying? What do you mean you want to help me pay off my loan? I didn't misunderstand you. I know you think I took out a loan to buy this car, just to help me keep up appearances for your mother. Yi Hao finally realizes that she has completely misunderstood. If I had known from the start that you would do this, I certainly wouldn't have asked for your help. I didn't buy this car with a loan. I paid for it in full. This whole situation has nothing to do with you. It's okay, Brother Yi. Even if I gave myself to you, I wouldn't regret it. You're a good person, and I'm willing. I really paid for this car in full. I'll go get the purchase documents to show you. Brother Yi, please don't feel like you have to drive off just because you think I'm at a disadvantage. What I said is the truth. I am truly willing. Linlin, please, stop talking. We're in a public place. Customers at the surrounding tables are all looking over. Rosamond finally realizes what she has just said, and her face turns beet red instantly. Customers at the neighboring tables are still staring at her. An old man holding a teacup gives them a meaningful smile. She wishes she could bury her head inside her teacup. At the same time, Rosamond's mother, having just returned home, sits on the sofa and dials a number. Once the call connects, she asks, Niece, I remember you work at that place called Miu by Huyu. I'd like you to help me ask around about your company. Oh, sure, I'll ask for you when I have time. But I've only been on the job for 2 days, so I don't know many people yet. Rosamond's mother tells her not to worry. After hanging up, she leans back on the sofa, finding more and more reasons why Yi Hao's situation is too perfect. Yi Hao quickly retrieves the purchase documents and hands them to Rosamond. Look, I really did pay for this car in full. After Rosamond checks the amount and the payment method, she finally believes she misunderstood. You worked at Miu by Huyu for 6 years without a promotion. So logically, you shouldn't have been able to save that much money. Yi Hao can only make up an excuse, saying he earned some money through e-commerce and trading cryptocurrency. Oh, so that's how it is. I feel like you're so impressive. Brother Yi, I never thought you'd also make money through e-commerce. I've learned something new today. Just got lucky, that's all. Perhaps feeling like she needs to go on a few more dates with Yi Hao to appease her mother, she asks if he is staying in the county or going back to Shenzhen. I'll probably go back to Shenzhen. Yi Hao secretly hopes she will stay, but doesn't say it out loud. How about I treat you to dinner? Not today. I have to go home for a welcome back dinner. Maybe next time, I'll treat you. No. Let's do it next time. It's a deal. Then, Yi Hao offers to drive Rosamond home, but she says her house is nearby and there's no need. The two wave goodbye at the entrance of the tea room. Yi Hao watches her silhouette disappear around the street corner, then finishes his last sip of tea and stands up to leave. Yi Hao returns to his car and checks the time. It is only 3:45 in the afternoon. It is still too early for his date with Liu Yeran. He decides to drive around the county for a while and ask for the specific location at 5 o'clock. Yi Hao drives slowly through the old streets. Looking at the familiar yet strange streetscape, he marvels that the county hasn't changed much. But when he looks at it now, his state of mind is completely different. Yi Hao drives around the vicinity of the Shaochai neighborhood and finds the community much cleaner than it used to be. At this moment, his phone rings. It's a WeChat message from Liu Yeran. After reading the message, Yi Hao simply replies with one word, "Sure." Yi Hao then calls his father, Yi Jianwo, telling him that both the villa and the car had been purchased. Yi Jianwo is completely shocked. You buy a house and a car, like you're going to the market to buy groceries. After asking how much money was spent, Yi Hao only says that he still has 2 million left. Is the person you're having dinner with tonight a man or a woman? Yi Hao says helplessly, it's a woman. Yi Jianwo immediately gets excited. Your father approves of this match. Yi Hao has no choice but to hang up the phone quickly. At 5 in the afternoon, Yi Hao arrives at Poly Plaza. Just as he gets out of the car, he sees a few girls taking photos of his Xiaomi SU7. The girls run away shyly, and they see the owner approaching. Yi Hao, I'm over here. Yi Hao looks up and sees her. She has changed into a pink lawn dress, with her blonde hair draped over her shoulders. Looking incredibly charming. I never expected that someone as wealthy as you would drive a Xiaomi SU7. Being rich has nothing to do with what car you drive. This car has its own charm, Yi Hao says, making Liu Yeran laugh. They enter the Banshan restaurant and sit by the window. Yi Hao orders a medium rare black pepper steak, and Liu Yeran also orders a steak, requesting it medium rare. Yi Hao looks around and finds that this place is still much the same as it was back in the day. This restaurant hasn't changed at all. The prices probably don't match your status. Yi Hao doesn't mind, responding calmly, I don't care about that. Liu Yeran remarks, the most surprising thing today isn't that you bought a villa so quickly, but that you actually drive a Xiaomi SU7. Yi Hao explains, I don't like to be flashy. Liu Yeran is very impressed, saying that his low-key nature shows wisdom. Once the steaks are served, Yi Hao takes a bite and marvels that it tastes exactly as it did before. Among their junior high classmates, probably only Yi Hao and Sean Pan are the wealthiest now. I've always had a good relationship with Sean Pan. Yi Hao still uses e-commerce and crypto trading to explain his wealth. While surprised, Liu Yeran also laments that she only managed to save 200,000 in 6 years, adding that real estate sales are becoming harder to manage. Yi Hao compliments Liu Yeran on being young and pretty, but she says earnestly, I'm afraid my partner won't be able to provide the life I want. So I've stayed single to save money, wanting to survive on my own. Yi Hao nods, expressing his agreement with her philosophy. Liu Yeran admits that she also longs for love, but fears growing old alone. She suddenly asks seriously, if it were you, would you consider a woman like me? I want to hear the honest truth. The atmosphere suddenly becomes subtle. I admire your independence, and I also think you're very pretty. Are you just being polite? I'm already 29 years old. I'm not really considered pretty anymore. If you weren't pretty and in good shape, you wouldn't have been able to work in villa sales for this long. Liu Yeran nods with a smile, as if finally accepting the compliment. Liu Yeran talks about university, where she had a crush on a tall, handsome guy, but didn't dare to pursue him due to low self-esteem. She says, later on, I swore that after I became better looking, I wouldn't leave any more regrets. With that, she calls the waiter to order a bottle of red wine, asking, do you want to drink some? I don't drink alcohol, but I can drink fruit juice with you. Liu Yeran looks a bit disappointed, saying it's fine, though she is clearly less happy. Over the next hour, Liu Yeran drinks 2 glasses of red wine and becomes flushed all over from the intoxication. She rambles about her miserable background, saying, I actually really admire you. Before she can finish, her body starts to slide backward. Yi Hao quickly catches her. Yeran, you're drunk. Let me take you home. Liu Yeran, in a hazy drunken state, leans on him, mumbling, back home? Sure. Do you know where my home is? Yi Hao asks helplessly for her home address, but she says, I don't know, you tell me the address. Then she mumbles again, so where am I going back to? I've forgotten where my home is. 2. Yi Hao tells her to think hard, but she shakes her head. I can't remember. Liu Yeran is completely limp, pressed against Yi Hao's body. The scent of her perfume mixed with the smell of alcohol surges into his nose, and Yi Hao quickly tries to clear his head, steadying her with one hand while signaling the waiter for the bill. The waiter looks at the pair with a somewhat subtle expression. Yi Hao quickly scans the QR code to pay. Then he supports Liu Yeran as she stands up. The young girl at the front desk sees this scene, and her eyes immediately become suspicious. Yi Hao feels his scalp tingle from her gaze, so he has to quicken his pace to help Liu Yeran out of the restaurant. Once outside, many passers-by keep watching them along the way. A tall man supporting a drunken woman, wearing a pink lawn dress, is just too conspicuous. Yi Hao feels so embarrassed he just wants to get in the car and leave as quickly as possible. Finally, they reach the car, and Yi Hao opens the passenger door, carefully placing Liu Yeran inside, and even fastening her seatbelt for her. After sitting back in the driver's seat, he lets out a long sigh. How embarrassing. I felt like if we stayed a second longer, I would have died on the spot from shame. Yeran, where is your home? He calls her name twice, but she doesn't respond. Her head is tilted to the side, and her eyes are closed. She has passed out completely. Yi Hao says helplessly, "Great, this is perfect. This is a real predicament." Yi Hao takes out Liu Yeran's phone, but he cannot unlock it because it has a passcode. He checks the time. It is already 7:30 in the evening. Since he doesn't know where she lives, he has no choice but to find a hotel and get a room so she can rest. Yi Hao parks the car and walks into the lobby of the Kyonkun Sunshine Hotel alone. The young girl with glasses at the front desk gives a professional smile. "Good evening, sir. Do you need to book a room?" Yi Hao hands over his ID and says, "I need a room with a large bed." "Sir, are you staying alone?" "There are two of us. The other person is in the car. She is drunk. And she is my classmate. I don't know where she lives, so I can only get a room first to let her rest." The receptionist hands over a room card with a suspicious look. "Room 308. Third room on the left on the third floor." Yi Hao takes the room card and has to bite the bullet and return to the car, helping Liu Yeran into the hotel. Yi Hao helps Liu Yeran into room 308, getting ready to lay her down. Suddenly, there is a clicking sound from behind him. He looks back and sees Liu Yeran actually reaching out and locking the door. Yi Hao asks in surprise, "I thought you were drunk." "How?" Before Yi Hao can finish his sentence, Liu Yeran suddenly reaches out, grabs his head, and kisses him directly. Yi Hao is frozen in place, with only one thought left in his mind. This scene truly caught him off guard. The next morning at 9, Yi Hao wakes up in a daze. He checks the time on his phone first. When he turns his head and sees Liu Yeran lying beside him on the pillow, an intense feeling of regret washes over him. "Oh no, what have I done?" Yi Hao covers his face with both hands, images of last night flashing through his mind. After he lifts the blanket to check, his face changes completely. He blurts out, "Damn it, I didn't use any protection. I just won 100 million, and I haven't even enjoyed it for a few days." He regrets it deeply. After Liu Yeran wakes up, she hugs Yi Hao's arm and says guiltily, "Yi Hao, I know what I did yesterday was wrong. But don't worry, I will definitely take responsibility for you." Yi Hao holds his head in his hands, asking hesitantly, "Should I go buy you some medicine?" "No need. I am a responsible woman. Every time we reach the final step, I pulled out." Upon hearing this, Yi Hao breathes a significant sigh of relief, preparing to get out and go to the bathroom. "Yi Hao, I will take responsibility for you." "Hey, I'm the man here. Why would I need you to take responsibility? You said I am an independent woman. Then in matters like this, shouldn't it be me taking responsibility for you? Isn't that right?" Yi Hao pulls Liu Yeran's hand away and walks into the bathroom, washing his face with cold water. He looks at himself in the mirror, repeating to himself, "After all, I was deceived. It wasn't voluntary." Yi Hao returns to the room and sits on the edge of the bed in a daze. Liu Yeran hugs the blanket and says remorsefully, "Yi Hao, I will take responsibility for you to the end. If you don't like me, it doesn't matter. You can go find other girls. I only hope that in your heart, there can still be a place for me." Yi Hao looks at her red, watery eyes, and can only sigh. After packing up their things, Yi Hao and Liu Yeran go downstairs together. As they pass the front desk, the young girl with glasses sees the two of them coming out together and gives them an "I know what happened" look. Yi Hao feels helpless inside and can only walk out of the hotel quickly. At the parking lot, Yi Hao sits in the gray Xiaomi SU7 and asks Liu Yeran, "Can you tell me now where you live?" "My home is at the west gate of Zihumingju residential complex." Yi Hao starts the car to take her back. When they arrive at the west gate of Zihumingju, Liu Yeran says softly before getting out, "Drive safely." With that, she closes the car door and walks into the complex. Yi Hao watches her silhouette disappear. Feeling conflicted, Yi Hao lights a cigarette. Just as he takes a deep drag, a WeChat message from Liu Yeran pops up. "Hao, I will take responsibility for you." Yi Hao doesn't reply, just locks his screen. Feeling an indescribable sense of annoyance, Yi Hao opens Douyin and posts a status. "What's it like for a grown man to be told by a woman that she will take responsibility for you? What kind of feeling is this?" The comment section is quickly filled with "Hey ha ha ha" and "You're fooling your brothers." Yi Hao irritably closes the app, puts out his cigarette, and drives home. When Yi Hao returns home, Li Hongmai has just finished making breakfast. Yi Jianwo is sitting at the dining table. Seeing him walk through the door, he asks, "Why? Do you look so unhappy? Did your date last night not go well? Yi Hao shakes his head and says, no. So it was a success. Dad. Li Hongmai brings out the kanji to smooth things over. Our son only came back the day before yesterday. How could he have gotten into a relationship with anyone? Yi Hao feels even more helpless. Li Hongmai asks again about buying the house and car. Yi Hao says he paid in full, and there are 2 million left in the card. Both the house and the car are all taken care of. That's such a great deal. It was an employee discount price given by a friend. Remember to treat your friend to a meal. Once the villa is renovated, the whole family can move in together, but both parents flatly refuse, saying they are used to living here, and all their old neighbors are here too. If you get a girlfriend later, and bring her home, wouldn't it be inconvenient for me and your dad to be living there? Yi Hao is left speechless, and can only shake his head helplessly. After finishing breakfast, Yi Hao leans on the sofa to rest. Just then, the front door is suddenly knocked. He gets up to open the door. He never expected that the person standing outside would leave him stunned on the spot. As soon as the door opens, Yi Hao sees a woman wearing black yoga pants and a cropped athletic tank top. She has a full figure, and her face is flushed from just finishing a workout, with sweat still on her forehead. Yi Hao is startled. Deng Yao. When Deng Yao sees that the person who opened the door is a tall and handsome young man, she is also clearly taken aback for a moment. Yi Hao smiles from the doorframe and greets her. Deng Yao says somewhat awkwardly, I came to borrow 2 cucumbers. Yi Hao looks at Deng Yao's yoga outfit and can't help but let his mind wander. Deng Yao blushes and quickly waves her head to explain. It's not what you think. I'm making a fat loss salad, and I ran out of cucumbers. Just then, Li Hongmai comes out of the kitchen, smiling as she hands the washed cucumbers to Deng Yao. After thanking her, Deng Yao turns and leaves. Yi Hao watches her silhouette, feeling somewhat unsettled. You must have had some dirty thoughts, right? Her name is Deng Yao. She comes over to borrow things often. She's a nice person. If you like her, Mom can help you talk to her. Yi Hao feels embarrassed. Ask your mother to stop saying those things all day. After sitting back on the sofa, he admits to himself that he feels an attraction to Deng Yao, but remembering that she is his friend Yang Kiffin's ex-wife, he immediately warns himself that it's not an option. He then thinks of Liu Yeran from last night, pats his face, and forces himself to stop letting his mind wander. After finishing lunch, Li Hongmai asks Yi Hao to go out for a walk and take out the trash while he's at it. Yi Hao picks up the trash bag and walks to the door, pushes it open, and leaves the house. As soon as Yi Hao pushes the door open, he bumps into Deng Yao, who is also walking out from next door. She has changed into form-fitting clothes and is holding her car keys. The two share an awkward smile, nod, and then start walking downstairs one after the other. The stairs in the old apartment complex are very narrow. Yi Hao walks in front, with Deng Yao following behind. She can't help but look at his back, thinking to herself that this is Auntie Li's son. He is so tall and handsome, completely different from the stooped figure of Yang Kiffin. Deng Yao is slightly lost in thought and doesn't notice where she is stepping at all. The next second, she steps on the edge of a stair where the cement is chipped. She lets out a startled cry. She falls directly forward. In the nick of time, Yi Hao hears the scream and turns his head sharply. He sees Deng Yao hurtling towards him by momentum. He widens his eyes and yells. Holy crap! The trash bag in his hand instantly drops. Seeing Yi Hao extend both arms while she is midair, Deng Yao is so scared, she closes her eyes and screams. No. But what she imagined doesn't happen. She crashes into Yi Hao's chest, and Yi Hao firmly grabs her thighs, catching her safely. In the stairwell, Deng Yao recoils in a panic, stepping back repeatedly, waving her hands around in confusion, and hurriedly saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. Yi Hao stands there, rubbing his nose. Yi Hao secretly feels relieved. Thank goodness there was enough cushioning earlier. He rubs his nose and softly comforts Deng Yao. Oh, it's fine. I'm fine. Deng Yao looks down at her chest. Her clothes are intact, but thinking of the awkwardness, she is so embarrassed, she wishes she could crawl into a hole. Seeing Yi Hao still rubbing his nose, she asks with concern, is your nose really okay? If it's not, I'll take you to the hospital to get it checked at. I'll cover the medical expenses. Yi Hao lowers his hand and smiles at her. Really, it's not needed. My nose isn't broken. It's pretty sturdy. Is it? That's good to hear. The awkward atmosphere hasn't quite dissipated. Deng Yao feels uncomfortable staying but also hesitant to leave, so she hurriedly tries to start a conversation. You are Auntie Li's son, right? Yes, I am. And you are Deng Yao, right? Yes. Do you know me? Yeah. We've met before. That time you and Yang Kiffin went out for dinner. We bumped into each other at the restaurant. Deng Yao recalls what happened 3 years ago, looks closely at Yi Hao's face, and asks, was that 3 years ago? Yes, that was still during the Chinese New Year. It was a rare time. I had come back from Shenzhen, and we just happened to run into each other. Deng Yao smiles, looking noticeably more relaxed. That really was a coincidence. I never thought we had met before. I was just wondering why such a handsome guy came to Auntie Lee's house today. This is my business card. It has my WeChat on it. If you want to consult me about yoga in the future, feel free to contact me. I run a yoga studio in the shopping mall not far from here. Why don't we add each other on WeChat now? It will be easier to stay in touch. Oh, sure. Let's add each other. Anyway, I'm really grateful you caught me just now. If I had fallen face first like that, I'm afraid I would have been disfigured. It's nothing. Just a small favor. We are all neighbors. By the way, are you interested in yoga? Yoga, actually, I've looked into it before. But when I was working in Shenzhen, I was too busy and always working overtime. So I never had the chance to practice. Hearing Yi Hao say this, Deng Yao's eyes light up, and she immediately invites him. That's great. Since you're interested, I can give you a day pass from my yoga studio, a trial pass. I wonder if you'd like to come and try it out. After hearing this, Yi Hao starts calculating in his mind. Yi Hao thinks this is an opportunity to get closer to Deng Yao, and it would also be convenient to help Yan Kiffin rekindle their marriage. So he nods and says, sure, that's fine. It just so happens that I've resigned now, so I have time every day. That's fantastic. Then let's go over there now. It's perfect timing since I have to head to the studio anyway. I'll take you. Deng Yao reveals her Mercedes car key. Yi Hao sees the logo and thinks to himself, she has indeed made quite a bit of money. No need. I have a car. I'll just drive my car and follow behind you. That's fine. Let's go down first. Yi Hao picks up the trash bag from the floor, and he and Deng Yao head downstairs one after the other. After reaching the entrance of the residential complex, he throws away the trash first, then takes out his car key and presses it toward the gray Xiaomi SU7 on the side of the road. The car lights flash twice. Deng Yao stops in her tracks, looking at the Xiaomi SU7 in surprise, then turns to Yi Hao and asks, is this car yours? Yi Hao turns back and nods casually. Yeah, I just bought it yesterday. Deng Yao walks to the car and walks around it once, marveling. You just bought it? No wonder it's so new. You don't see many of these cars in the county. I didn't expect you to be so young and accomplished. It's all right. Thanks for the compliment. Yi Hao sits inside the car. Deng Yao takes another look. Before returning to her own white Mercedes, she thinks to herself, Yi Hao is about 30 years old, and being able to buy a Xiaomi SU7 is no small feat. Unlike Yan Kiffin, who can't even afford a car. Soon, she brushes these thoughts aside and drives out of the complex. Yi Hao follows steadily behind. Both cars soon arrive at Intime City. They pull over on the side of the road at the mall entrance. Yi Hao gets out and meets up with Deng Yao. Deng Yao points toward the mall and says, let's go. My yoga studio is upstairs on the 5th floor. I'll take you up. Then, the two walk side by side toward the entrance. Yi Hao walks while observing the surroundings of Intime City, remembering how crowded it was when it first opened 6 years ago. But now, having seen those big malls in Shenzhen, looking at this place, it just feels like a mini version, and the number of people is pitifully small. Entering the first floor lobby of the mall, it feels deserted. There isn't a single customer at the entrances of the clothing stores. The staff are either dazing off or scrolling through their phones. Yi Hao looks around, lamenting that the young people in the county have all left. So naturally, there isn't much disposable income left to spend at the mall. By the way, I'm quite curious. Did you buy that car in full, or did you take out a loan? I bought it in full. I don't like being tied to loans. Just thinking about making payments every month gives me invisible pressure. Doesn't it? Haha. That's certainly true. The days of making loan payments aren't pleasant. However, the fact that you can immediately take out nearly 300,000 to buy a car in full is not something you see often in a small county like Xiaocheng. Many people wouldn't even dare to buy a Fen 7 a car model. It's all right. I just feel like I'm pretty ordinary. Haha. Saying that is a bit Versailles humble bragging, but everyone has different perspectives, I suppose. Yi Hao doesn't respond. The elevator arrives at the 5th floor just in time. Reaching the 5th floor, the two walk along the hallway and come to a yoga studio with exquisite decoration. A golden sign hangs at the entrance, reading Yao Yao Yoga. Deng Yao takes out her keys to open the door, turns to the sign, and says, please come in. Yi Hao steps into the yoga studio and finds it spacious and bright, with floor-to-ceiling glass windows all around. In the main hall, 7 or 8 female students are preparing, all wearing tight yoga clothes. Yi Hao stands there for 2 seconds, feeling like his eyes can't take it all in. Looking at these students with nice figures in front of him, Yi Hao can't help but raise an eyebrow. He whispers to himself that he's arrived in paradise. Just then, Deng Yao walks to his side and asks with a smile, hey, what are you looking at? Oh, I'm just looking at the environment. It looks quite plump and fair here. I mean, it's quite clean and bright. It feels very comfortable. Hey, you're a grown man. Coming into my place is like a wolf entering a flock of sheep. Later, Don't go having any wild ideas about my students. Oh, don't worry. I'm here to experience yoga. When studying, you can't be thinking about other things. Deng Yao doesn't say anything more, turning to introduce the class schedule to the students, and also introducing Yi Hao as a new trial student. The students say in unison, "Hello," but their eyes keep sizing Yi Hao up and down. A few even cover their mouths to giggle. Looks like they all quite like you. You're quite lucky to be here. Ha. Look at what you're saying. Could I, Yi Hao, be that kind of person? All right, with that from you, I'm relieved. Deng Yao claps her hands, walks to the front, and starts leading everyone in yoga. Yi Hao is placed in the back row, wearing a t-shirt and casual pants without changing into yoga gear. As the class begins, it starts with simple stretching and breathing exercises. But when it comes to the downward dog, warrior 2, and triangle pose, Deng Yao and the students perform them effortlessly and with perfect form. Yi Hao's legs, however, are shaking violently. When bending over, his fingers are still a long way from his toes. A side stretch feels more like he is a wooden plank. Yi Hao can't help but grumble to himself. How exactly are these yoga moves even practiced? As a programmer who has worked for 6 years, he either sits or lies down every day, so his flexibility is practically zero. But he still gritted his teeth and persisted. Although his movements were clumsy and genuinely painful, whenever Yi Hao looked up and saw the rows of graceful figures and silhouettes in front of him, and smelled the faint fragrance in the air, he momentarily cast his aches and pains to the back of his mind, forcing himself to persist to the end. All right. This afternoon's session ends here. Thank you all for your hard work. The students get up one after another to pack and leave one by one. Yi Hao stands in place, feeling every single muscle in his body crying out. His inner thighs and lower back are incredibly sore. It is then that he understands. Yoga looks easy, but it's truly killer when you actually do it. After resting for a moment, he walks out of the yoga studio to buy some water. Yi Hao scans a code at the vending machine to buy a bottle of water, taking two big gulps before he starts to feel better. He carries the water bottle back, and just as he arrives at the door, he hears Deng Yao saying to a student, "Sister John, your quarterly pass expires next month. Would you like to renew it? If you renew now, it's still the original price." "Forget it. Teacher Deng, I've practiced enough. My kid has final exams coming up, so I need to go back and keep an eye on them. I won't be coming anymore either. My husband said our household expenses are too high, so I need to save some money." "All right, no problem. If you ever want to come back in the future, just find me anytime." In the end, only 2 or 3 students renew their passes. Once everyone has left, only Yi Hao and Deng Yao are left in the yoga studio. Deng Yao stands behind the front desk, flipping through the ledger. When she looks down, her expression is clearly anxious. Her brows are tightly knit, and her lips are pressed together tightly. After flipping through a few pages, she sighs and closes the ledger. Looking up and seeing Yi Hao, she immediately puts on a smile. "So, how do you feel after finishing this class?" "It was pretty good. I never expected yoga to be so relaxing for the body and mind. Although the process was painful, it does feel much more comfortable now that it's over." "Well, of course. Yoga is a course dedicated to relaxing the body and mind. Are you feeling peaceful and happy? By the way, I'd like to sign up for a membership. How much does it cost?" "If it's for the basic course, it's $800 per quarter. I wonder if that's acceptable to you." $800. What's wrong? Is the price not right? No. I just think it's too cheap. In Shenzhen, a single private session easily costs several $100s. And here, it's only $800 for a whole quarter. There's no helping it. This is a county town. The per capita spending power is just at this level. Plus, this private yoga studio of mine doesn't have a brand premium. It's normal for it to be cheaper. Yi Hao nods, his gaze falling on the ledger she just closed. "I think the courses you teach are quite good. Why aren't those students renewing their memberships?" "There's nothing I can do. Most people come out of curiosity, practicing for a month or 2, and then they don't come back. There are very few who are truly willing to refine their skills. And I haven't done any marketing or promotion. The people who come here are basically moms from the nearby neighborhood. It's just those few people relying on word of mouth. Their willingness to pay is naturally not very high." Yi Hao quickly realizes that Deng Yao's teaching isn't bad, and the price is also cheap. The problem is just that no one knows this place exists. Without traffic, there are no customers and no revenue. He thinks to himself, if I help her with the marketing, business should get much better, and this might just be an investment opportunity. Thinking of this, Yi Hao remembers Rosamond again. If the yoga studio needs online operations and promotion, Rosamond would have something to do, and a reason to stay in Xiaocheng. So he puts down his water bottle and says earnestly, "Deng Yao, I have something to tell you." Deng Yao asks, "What is it?" "If I say I can help you with marketing and promotion, would you be willing to accept it?" "Oh, marketing. I really haven't considered that. I think your teaching ability is good. The environment is also nice. And the price is very affordable. There's no reason you shouldn't be attracting more people. Your current problem is that no one knows this shop exists. If you do some marketing and promotion, business will naturally be much better. What you're saying is definitely true. But spending money on marketing costs a lot, and even if you spend the money, there's no guarantee that anyone will actually come. If the results aren't good, I'm currently fairly satisfied with the yoga studio's profitability. It's enough to get by. But if I have to invest an extra sum of money, the pressure will be too high. Yi Hao understands now. What she is really worried about is money. And she's also worried that there will be no return after the investment. You don't need to worry about that. I can put up the money to help you do the marketing. You're putting up the money. That doesn't seem quite right. Even though you're a friend of Yan Kiffin, we've only just met. I'd owe you such a huge favor, and I wouldn't be able to pay it back later. I know you aren't the type to owe favors easily. And I'm not a saint either. If I put up the money, it has to have a return. So what do you mean? I want to buy a stake in your yoga studio. Buy a stake. Yi Hao nods. Yes, if you let me take a 40% share of the yoga studio, I'll cover all your marketing, from capital investment, to marketing channels, to personnel allocation. I can handle it all for you. You won't have to worry about a thing. No, 40% is too much of a cut. This small business of mine only makes that little bit of money every month. If you take 40%, it's like I'm working for you. No, you are overlooking one fact. What fact? Once I help you with the marketing, there will be more people managed and brought in. There will be more members, and the course fees can be raised. At that point, the income will definitely be much higher than it is now. You can think about it. Based on your current income, if it doubles several times, or even increases more than tenfold, even if you share 40% of the equity, the money you personally earn in the end, it will absolutely be much higher than it is now. Actually, I know you are a strong-willed woman. You definitely wouldn't be satisfied with the current small-time revenue situation. And have you ever thought about it? If you keep relying only on nearby fixed customers, sooner or later, other yoga studios will open up near you. They will do marketing and pull all your customers away. What will you do then? I'm not saying you definitely won't make money, but are you willing to just sit there and watch others make big money in this market, while you remain content in your own little corner? What you're saying does make me interested, but I still have one question. Go ahead. Can you guarantee that the marketing will definitely reach that level of effect? I will cover all the marketing investment costs. If it doesn't reach expectations, I am willing to bear all the losses. But if after doing the marketing, your revenue can reach 3 times your current income, then I'll take the 40% share. How about that? Yi Hao covers the marketing costs, and Yi Hao bears the risks. If the results are poor, she doesn't lose anything. If the revenue more than triples, even if she gives away 40%, the money she pockets, still more than what she makes now. Deng Yao gazes at Yi Hao, and finally nods slowly. She says softly, since you've put it that way, then I'm willing. This sentence carries a sincere response. Yi Hao shows a satisfied smile after hearing this. Then we have reached an agreement. Deng Yao also extends her hand to shake his, smiling as she says, it's a pleasure doing business with you. At the very moment of the handshake, their business partnership is officially established. Yi Hao feels the warmth and softness radiating from Deng Yao's palm, and his heart can't help but flutter slightly. After Yi Hao and Deng Yao reach their agreement, he readily pays the $800 quarterly membership fee. He plans to come study yoga often. It serves both to exercise the body and accumulate industry knowledge. He secretly thinks, otherwise, if I can't even explain the basic concepts of yoga, how am I supposed to do any marketing? Yi Hao walks out of the entrance of In Time City, takes out his phone, and checks. It is exactly 3 in the afternoon. Rosamond sends a WeChat message. Brother Yi, I just told my mom I'm going out on a date. Can you come out now? Yi Hao smiles and replies, I'll talk to you after we meet. Did you say you just left the house? I'll go pick you up. 10 minutes later, Yi Hao drives the car to the front of the Guanping tea room. He sees Rosamond already waiting for him from a distance, wearing a blue pleated lawn dress, and her hair in a bun. She waves her hand with a smile. Hi, Brother Yi. You look so handsome driving here today. The two arrive at a coffee shop on the street corner and sit by the window. Rosamond skillfully helps Yi Hao recommend a cappuccino and classic macarons, while ordering a latte for herself. After the coffee is served, Yi Hao puts down his cup and says, Lin, I have a question for you. Go ahead, Brother Yi. Yi Hao asks about Rosamond's work experience. Rosamond says she studied marketing in university and once did related work at New by Huyu. Later, because the pressure was too high, she switched to the front desk. She sighs, saying, the pressure from above was too much. I was working overtime until late every day. The KPIs were set extremely high, and if I didn't complete them, they would deduct from my performance pay. It made me anxious every day. and I couldn't even sleep well. But what if I wanted to offer you a marketing job now? Would you be willing to do it? Rosamund is stunned and asks if he is offering her a job. Yi Hao nods and directly states a monthly salary of 5,000 plus insurance and benefits. Rosamund widens her eyes and exclaims, 5,000 a month. Oh my god. Brother Yi, where did you find such a dream job? For me? Yi Hao smiles slightly, explaining that this job is one he created for Rosamund because he just partnered with the yoga studio owner, Deng Yao, and is currently in need of someone for marketing and promotion. Rosamund covers her mouth in surprise. Wow, my goodness, Brother Yi, you are actually so rich, you can even start a company. It's just a partnership, but the salary is real. I will personally pay for your social insurance and housing fund every month. Registered under the yoga studio's name. Rosamund nods and agrees immediately, feeling excited. The underlying logic of marketing and promotion should be more or less the same. It's nothing more than finding target customers and combining online and offline methods. I can try it out first. It shouldn't be a problem. Yi Hao feels that her understanding is spot on, so he decides to take her to meet Deng Yao to discuss the operations plan together. I haven't really prepared anything for today. If I go to meet their boss directly like this, wouldn't that be a bit inappropriate? How about I go tomorrow instead? Rosamund breathes a sigh of relief at this, deciding to go home first to research information about the yoga industry. Thank you, Brother Yi, not just for treating me to coffee today, but more importantly for introducing me to such a great job. That's good. See you tomorrow. Rosamund waves and skips happily into her neighborhood. Yi Hao watches her silhouette disappear and can't help but shake his head and smile. He thinks that the way this girl looks when she's happy is actually quite cute. After dropping Rosamund off, Yi Hao sits in the car alone, planning his future. He decides to start with Deng Yao's yoga studio and gradually expand his business empire. He thinks to himself, I have over 70 million in my hands. But just spending without earning won't work. A man without a career is just a salted fish. Just then, his phone vibrates. Liu Yeran has sent a WeChat message. Liu Yeran asks Yi Hao in the message, are you free right now? I want you to come to my place. I have something I need to talk to you about. Yi Hao feels startled, but feels it shouldn't be happening so quickly, so he replies, you can wait for me. Afterward, he opens the navigation, enters the address for the Zihu Mingju residential complex, and starts the Xiaomi SU7 to drive there. Yi Hao climbs the stairs to the 4th floor, holding onto the handrail and catching his breath before knocking on the door. After the door opens, Liu Yeran is wearing a black and red velvet robe. Standing at the entrance, Yi Hao glances at her involuntarily, then quickly looks away. Liu Yeran pulls him into the house with a smile. Come, you should take a look at this first. This is something I specially prepared for the two of us today. A candlelight dinner. The dining table is filled with red wine braised beef, garlic lobster, steamed abalone, scallion braised sea cucumber, and other dishes. In the center, there is also a red candle lit. Yi Hao asks in surprise if she made it herself. Liu Yeran says proudly, did you make this yourself? I spent 3 months training in a restaurant. In the future, if you come to my house, I can cook for you every day. Since you've been drinking and it's inconvenient to drive, just stay here and sleep. Sure. Then let's have a great night together. The two glasses clink together, making a crisp sound. The next day at 10 in the morning, sunlight shines through the curtains into the room. Yi Hao wakes up, gets out of bed quietly, and washes up. Seeing that Liu Yeran is still sleeping soundly, he bends over and kisses her gently, whispering, Yeran, I have something to do at noon, so I have to leave first. Liu Yeran mumbles something in her sleepy state, then rolls over and continues sleeping. Yi Hao gets dressed and quietly pulls the door open to leave. He keeps his head down and walks quickly downstairs. He thinks of his middle school classmate, Sean Pan, who also lives in this complex, and is terrified of running into him. Fortunately, everything goes smoothly. He gets into the car and lets out a long sigh of relief, then sends WeChat messages to Rosamund and Deng Yao, setting a time to talk about the promotion at noon. Rosamund is seriously applying lipstick in front of the living room mirror, wearing a light yellow short-sleeve shirt and a white skirt. Rosamund's mother comes out of the kitchen, smiling and asking if she's going on another date. She urges her. That young man Yi Hao is tall and handsome, has a good job, and is truly interested in you. You'd better grab this opportunity. Don't let him be snatched away. I need to get to know him better before making any decisions. At the same time, in the supervisor's office at Miu by Huyu in Shenzhen, Zhang Fugui is puffing on a cigarette, criticizing the new employee, Guan Tongtong, for her low efficiency. Guan Tongtong nods and complies. Just as she is about to leave, she remembers what her aunt asked her to inquire about. So she asks, is there a manager named Yi Hao in the company? Why are you asking about this? He is a relative of mine. That person, Yi Hao. He came to resign a few days ago. And he was never a manager at all. He worked here for 6 years, just as a regular front-end programmer. What? That guy, did he go back to his hometown and start bragging to someone in your family? These people who can't make it out there and return to their hometowns. You should cut ties with relatives who like to lie and brag as early as possible to avoid future trouble. Is he just a regular programmer? Then why is he pretending to be a rich man in front of my sister? He even claimed to have bought a house in Shenzhen in full. That's an awfully big lie to tell. Just then, her phone rings, and the caller ID is her aunt. Hello, niece. That matter I asked you about the day before yesterday. Did you check it out? Have you figured it out yet? Aunt, I just asked. That Yi Hao you mentioned is not a manager in our company at all. He is just a regular programmer. And he already, back on the 21st, in the afternoon, resigned and quit. Tauntaun, did you really make sure? Is he really not a manager? Yes, aunt, I asked our supervisor. Not only is he not a manager, but he already resigned and left a few days ago. He is just a regular programmer. This won't do. Our girl has really been deceived by that scoundrel. The social atmosphere is truly going downhill. As expected, you can't trust good-looking beaus. They are all liars. On the other side, Yi Hao drives the gray Xiaomi SU7 to the entrance of the Guanping tea room. Rosamond is wearing a white skirt and a light yellow short-sleeved shirt. Her hair is flowing smoothly on her shoulders, and she waves with a smile. Hi, brother Yi. I'm fully prepared for today. That's good. Get in the car. Rosamond sits in the passenger seat, and the familiar scent of gardenias drifts through the car. While fastening her seatbelt, she says, Brother Yi, I searched for a lot of information at home yesterday, and I have a slight understanding of yoga knowledge. I feel that if we promote this, that's good. Just then, the phone in Rosamond's bag suddenly rings. The caller ID is Mom. As soon as she answers, her mother's anxious, loud voice comes through. Linlin, you need to come back quickly. That guy you're on a blind date with, he's a liar. Rosamond's mother says, how could he be a manager? He is just a regular programmer. And he resigned and quit a few days ago. Rosamond is completely bewildered. Rosamond quickly explains, Mom, what are you talking about? Everything he said was true. Tauntaun must have misunderstood something. Rosamond's mother immediately interrupts. What? I misunderstood. That man used to work at Niu Bai Huyu, and Tauntaun just started working at that company a few days ago. She went specifically to ask the leadership. It's completely not what you said. Rosamond can only say, Mom, please don't get agitated. Just stay calm for a moment. I'll explain it to you when I get back. After Rosamond hangs up the phone, she presses the decline button on her mother's calls repeatedly, sends a text message, and then sets her phone to silent. She leans back in the seat, feeling very anxious. Yi Hao asks, what's wrong, Linlin? You look so uneasy. Are you worried about meeting that female business owner later? No. Brother Yi, it's what I previously told my mother about you. Yi Hao is shocked when he hears this, and his hands momentarily lose their grip on the steering wheel. The front of the car swerves violently. The black Honda next to them is startled and swerves away. The driver lowers their window and shouts angrily. Holy crap, what the hell are you doing driving like that? Are you looking for death? So, what do you plan to do? Can we just stop going on blind dates after this? If I don't go on a blind date with you, my mom will definitely try to set me up with other people again. But I really don't want to go on blind dates with strangers. We don't know each other at all. What's the point of sitting face to face on a blind date? It's so awkward. Brother Yi, I've thought of a solution. She plans to go back and tell her mother the truth about Yi Hao's current situation and explain. I'll just say that I made all of that up just to cope with her. You aren't a bad person. And then we can just continue going out on blind dates together. That idea is not bad, but I feel like your mother won't be that easy to handle. After all, in her heart right now, I am just a big fraud, trying to run off with her daughter. Rosamond wrings her hands and says anxiously, but there's no other way right now. It has to be this way. The car soon arrives downstairs at Yi Hao's house. Yi Hao parks the car and makes a voice call to Deng Yao. Hello, Deng Yao. I'm here, right downstairs. All right, I'll be right down. Less than 2 minutes later, the sound of high heels clicking on the stairs echoes in the stairwell. Hello, handsome. Hello, beautiful. Is this the person you brought over to do the marketing for my yoga studio? Should we find a place to sit down and talk? I have a great spot in mind. Do you know the corner coffee house? Deng Yao thinks for a moment and says, oh, that place. I've been there before. The atmosphere and the menu are both quite good. So, Yi Hao leads the way in his car, with Deng Yao's white Mercedes following closely behind. 10 minutes later, the three of them arrive at the corner coffee house. They find a table by the window and sit down. Before the coffee is served, Rosamond introduces herself first. Hello, my name is Rosamond. I previously worked for a few years, doing marketing at an internet company in Shenzhen. Deng Yao also smiles and says, hello, I am Deng Yao. I run a yoga studio. I've tried methods like distributing flyers before. It was somewhat effective. At least it attracted 20% of my customer base. However, most of my customers still come through word of mouth. Rosamund nods and says, that is normal, because the customers you gain through marketing will eventually, through word of mouth, bring in even more customers. The first thing we should rule out is taxi ads, or things like elevator advertising. These types of ads, while they can bring in decent benefits, the promotion costs are too high. The overall cost-benefit analysis is actually not that great. But what I am currently tested is utilizing online traffic for promotion. For example, platforms like Douyin or Xiaohongshu. Can my yoga studio be promoted through these online channels? Basically, that shouldn't be a problem. Besides filming your own short promotional videos, we also need to find some local micro-influencers to help with the promotion. The results will be even better. Yi Hao asks, then do you know any such micro-influencers? Rosamund answers bashfully, I've only just returned to Xiaocheng, so I'm not actually very familiar with this place. If we were in Shenzhen, I would know some people. Alright, so now the plan is basically determined. Later, you go with Yao Yao and film the videos. As for the matter regarding micro-influencers, I'll think of a way. Rosamund smiles and says, then I'll trouble you. Brother Yi, our boss is so generous. Deng Yao also thanks him. Sorry for the trouble. Once we make money later, there will definitely be a share for you. Why be so formal? We're all just here to make money. I'll just handle the funding. You guys can do the rest of the work. I have something I need to take care of first, so you two can keep talking. It's already lunchtime, and I even offered to treat you to a meal. Why are you leaving already? No need. I have a friend I'm meeting for lunch. Let's eat together another day. You guys go eat. Don't worry about me. Yi Hao asks the young woman to observe on the side, while briefly introducing the situation of the yoga studio and the surrounding environment. Seeing Deng Yao teaching class attentively and observing the atmosphere in the studio, the young woman finally feels reassured and asks directly, and they can start filming the video. You agreed so quickly. The young woman shrugs easily, explaining that her purpose in coming was to discuss a partnership. She was hesitant before only because there are too many scammers online. And now she feels reassured after confirming it in person. Yi Hao nods in understanding, calls Rosamund, and suggests they go to the corner coffee house to discuss it. He then asks, how did you get here? Upon learning she arrived by taxi, Yi Hao decides to drive them over himself. They arrive at the parking lot of In Time City. Yi Hao takes out his car key and presses it toward the gray Xiaomi SU7, which flashes its lights twice. When the woman sees this car, her expression noticeably changes, and her eyes widen. She didn't expect that in a small place like Xiaocheng, Yi Hao is clearly not an ordinary person. She feels a bit surprised, never thinking that the man looking for a partnership with her online would not only be tall and handsome, but also drive a Xiaomi SU7. She is briefly tempted, but quickly suppresses it, reminding herself that discussing the partnership and making money is the priority. Soon, Yi Hao parks the car at the entrance of the corner coffee house. After entering the shop, he generously orders 3 cappuccinos and some desserts. The woman introduces herself first. My name is Wu Yuxuan. What a beautiful name. Rosamund proposes 2 plans. First, have Wu Yuxuan act as a student to experience the class. And second, make a store visiting video. Wu Yuxuan responds readily. Both are no problem. I've filmed similar things before. You are the marketing manager. You can make the decision yourself. This is exactly what my previous company's boss used to say. Doing the work of 3 people, while also having to act as a manager. Isn't this just painting a picture? This is just the start. Yi Hao explains that once it develops well later, Rosamund will naturally understand the weight of being a manager. Rosamund earnestly expresses her belief in him. Wu Yuxuan is curious as to why the two are so close. Yi Hao explains. They were formerly colleagues at the same internet company in Shenzhen, working together for 3 years, before realizing they were from the same hometown. After returning to Xiaocheng, Wu Yuxuan exclaims, what a coincidence. After drinking coffee, Yi Hao drives Rosamund and Wu Yuxuan back to the Yao Yao yoga studio in Time City. At this time, Deng Yao's afternoon class is just halfway through. Rosamund and Wu Yuxuan don't delay and immediately start getting busy. Wu Yuxuan first changes into yoga gear and films the student experience video, then changes back into her clothes to make the store visiting video. Yi Hao occasionally helps by holding the phone on the side, and they work busily until 6 in the evening, when the video shoot is basically complete. After the filming was finished, Rosamund ran into a problem, because she didn't know how to edit videos. Wu Yuxuan usually finds someone else to do the editing. Yi Hao waves his hand and says, I'll find a way. As it happened, Deng Yao volunteered to drive the 2 of them home after class. Yi Hao drove back by himself. Once home, Yi Hao had dinner with his parents. After the meal, He sat alone on the sofa browsing his phone when he suddenly saw a post pushed by a local official account. There's a job fair at People's Square tomorrow. Yi Hao's eyes lit up. He felt that rather than looking for someone everywhere, he might as well just go to the job fair to recruit a video editor. Yi Hao immediately dialed the number of the person in charge of the job fair, asked if there were still any spots available, and explained that Yao Yoga Studio wanted to hire a short video editor. The person in charge said there were spots, but he would need to send the business license for review first. Yi Hao didn't delay. He immediately WeChatted Deng Yao to ask for a photo of the business license. Deng Yao quickly sent over the photo of the business license. Yi Hao forwarded it to the person in charge of the job fair and paid the $200 booth fee. After the person in charge confirmed receipt, they sent him the booth number. Just like that, the matter of recruiting a video editor was taken care of. The next morning at 8:30, Yi Hao arrived at the People's Square job fair. He scanned the area and discovered that other booths were basically listing salaries of $2,500 to $3,000, with only 1 day off a week and no social insurance. Yi Hao walked to his empty booth, took out a sheet of white paper and a marker, and prepared to write down the recruitment criteria. Yi Hao wrote down eye-catching recruitment criteria on the white paper. Monthly salary of $4,500, 2 days off a week, and full insurance and benefits, no empty promises and no overtime. After writing it, he taped the white paper to the table and sat back leisurely to browse his phone. Is what's written on here true? Of course it's true. The two immediately handed over their resumes. The news spread like wildfire. In less than half an hour, a long line had formed in front of Yi Hao's booth. The boss next door, who was recruiting waiters, looking at the long line in front of Yi Hao's booth, could only stare helplessly. Just then, a female boss in a red suit from a media company suddenly rushed over, pointed at Yi Hao, and shouted, "Liar." She said it was impossible to have such benefits in this town. Suspecting Yi Hao of scamming personal information or running a pyramid scheme, the pot-bellied boss next door, who was recruiting waiters, also chimed in, accusing Yi Hao of disrupting the market. The crowd waiting in line began to waver, and some young people wanted to back out. Yi Hao sneered and retorted, "I'm spending my own money to recruit employees and providing legal benefits. If you can't afford to pay a basic salary of a few thousand, that doesn't mean others aren't allowed to pay for $1,500. What you're doing is looking for corporate slaves." The female boss in the red suit wouldn't back down, clamoring for Yi Hao to show his contract. Yi Hao ignored her completely, turned to Li Ming, who had been standing at the table the whole time, and said, "I am very satisfied with your qualifications. This position is yours." Li Ming was very excited to hear this, and promised on the spot that he would do a great job. Yi Hao took out two formal labor contracts, which clearly stated the salary and benefits. Li Ming confirmed the details carefully and decisively signed, and pressed his thumbprint. Yi Hao also signed and stamped it with the yoga studio's official seal. The whole process took less than 5 minutes. The female boss in the red suit and the other bosses were all stunned. The job seekers realized then that Yi Hao was for real, and immediately, public opinion turned against them, with people accusing those black-hearted bosses. Someone even pulled out a phone to record it all. Several bosses, terrified, hung their heads and ran back to their own booths. Yi Hao tittied up his things, tore down the recruitment paper, and prepared to leave. "The position is filled. I wish you all find good jobs." Afterward, he told Li Ming to bring his equipment to work tomorrow, strode out of the square, and got into his Xiaomi SU7. He stepped on the gas and drove home. After arriving home, Yi Hao told his parents that the person had been recruited and could start working tomorrow. Yi Jianwo worried that he was spending money too quickly, say that doing business carries risks. Li Hongmai also urges him to keep at least 1 million as a safety net. Yi Hao agrees on the surface, saying, "I don't do business that loses money." Just then, someone suddenly knocks on the door outside. Yi Hao opens the door and sees the neighbor, Deng Yao. She is standing at the door in her pink yoga outfit and says somewhat embarrassedly that she has run out of vegetables at home and would like to borrow 2 eggplants. Yi Hao goes to the kitchen and gets the eggplants for her. The floor at the entrance had just been mopped, and Deng Yao slips under her feet, shrieking as she throws herself toward Yi Hao. Yi Hao instinctively catches her, and the atmosphere instantly becomes somewhat awkward. Deng Yao's face turns beet red as she hurries to pull away, grabs the eggplants, says thank you, and quickly runs back home. Yi Hao pats his clothes, turns around, and closes the door. When he looks up, he sees his mom, Li Hongmai, standing at the corner of the hallway, saying with a smile full of meaning, "You Bo, you sure have good luck with women." Yi Hao helplessly explains that she just accidentally slipped, and quickly changes the subject, saying he is hungry. Li Hongmai smiles, shakes her head, and goes into the kitchen to serve the dishes. "Yi Hao, your handling of things is too impressive. This is only the first day, and the results are already this good. I really don't know how to thank you." Yi Hao waves his hand, signaling her to sit down first. "Don't get excited just yet. The reason I came to see you today is to solve the problems that are coming next. Now that there are so many people inquiring, even if only half of them come to the studio to sign up, that's still dozens of people. Can you handle teaching all of them by yourself?" "I can't handle it. If there really were that many people, I would definitely be worked to death in the studio by myself. Plus, the space is limited, so we have to divide them into several classes. Yi Hao nods in agreement, knowing that the truly urgent problem is already staring them in the face. That's right. So the thing we are most ashamed of right now is the lack of staff. We must recruit immediately a new yoga teacher to come and substitute. I have a very close best friend. We used to learn yoga together. Her technique and professionalism are both extremely high. She is not a bit inferior to me. However, she has been developing her career in another city previously, but recently she just returned to Shaocheng to rest. If I ask her to come over and help teach, she would definitely be willing. Then what are we waiting for? Contact her right now. Time is money. Customers don't wait. Deng Yao picks up her phone and dials her best friend's number directly. The phone rings several times before it is answered. Noisy background music comes from the other end. Deng Yao briefly explains the situation over the phone and asks if the other party is willing to cooperate. The other end sounds very interested. After they chat for a few minutes, Deng Yao hangs up the phone. Yi Hao immediately asks, "How was it?" She agreed. She said she is currently looking for something to do, so substituting is absolutely no problem. That is too great. When can we meet? To discuss specific salary and scheduling, she said we can meet and talk this afternoon at 2. But the meeting location is a bit special. It's at a cocktail party in the Minchi mansion. Deng Yao explains that this best friend of hers has an extroverted personality and really likes to have fun. She is currently with a group of friends, drinking and chatting at the cocktail party. She added that she wants us to go directly there at 2 o'clock this afternoon to find her. No problem. Then it's settled. You tidy up. And after we finish lunch, we will go directly to that cocktail party at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to find her. Go directly to that cocktail party at 2 o'clock this afternoon to find her.